We are all migrants. The call of a solitary pied cuckoo rings above the brook that gurgles over the rocks. Its black and white wing patterns and spiky crest stark against the monsoon green of its momentary tree perch. My name is Anand Gurung. Although while writing poetry I go by the name Anand Vijay Gurung. Beautiful are the whistling notes it makes before pecking into its feathers, its long tail bobbing eagerly for a feeding mating splurge. It's easy to be amazed by just how this slim brood parasite manages to navigate thousands of arduous, dangerous miles into this breeding sanctuary. Writing is a very lonely task. I came to poetry late, but when I started to appreciate the musical element of poetry and the wordplay, it's a kind of a game. So it was kind of fun writing poetry. There was no special reason that I was writing poetry. It was just fun and a kind of form that I experimented with initially. And before I used to write mostly journalism, and sometime I used to write short stories, travel pieces. But poetry, it was mostly because the joy that I started to derive from it. That's why I started to write poetry. The body of a young Syrian boy washed up on a desolate beach in Turkey sparks a loud universal cry, lying face down on the surf in his red t-shirt and tiny shoes. The small, restless waves of the choppy sea constantly break into him in a resounding whoosh. All that the bird and the boy are migrants, driven by instincts of survival, setting out on their perilous journeys to navigate their way in a world and find the elusive perfect nest etched in their mental maps. The only thing guiding them being the wanderlust gene lying dormant in every being. If a piece of poetry inspires you to feel more intensely, then I think it would serve its purpose. Just that one had to somehow survive to spark an enthusiasm in the pleasure of witnessing next year just how its kind keep the time of the arrival. Alas, the other had to eternally lie face down on the beach and become a poster boy of terrible migrant suffering. To move countries so much as to close their borders and impose refugee blockades. There's no monetary reward writing poetry, being a poet. The Nepali people, the Nepali society respects writers, but there's no support system there's no support mechanism to encourage writers to continue to take up this vocation. Borders and walls are there for unfortunate humans, not birds and brooks. And while shutting out outsiders, we ourselves get shut in and end up more damaged with a heart that keeps hurting.